Not only is heightened government spending generally inflationary in nature, but for countries fighting on their own territory, the destruction of capital and impact on the labor force can lead to the cost of production to increase, with countries seeing a median 8 percentage point increase in inflation when compared to pre-war trends when fighting on their own territory, with, in extreme cases, countries even experiencing hyperinflation in instances where governments end up printing money to try and cover their expenses, with Weimar Germany after the First World War being a commonly referenced example of a country that saw its currency completely collapse in value after the war. So when you expand the lens beyond just GDP per capita, even in instances where that might be positive, there are other factors worth noting here that can have pretty clear negative impacts on a country's economy. And unfortunately, while we've so far just looked at the countries directly involved in these conflicts, there can be some spillover effects for other countries as well. There's actually a tool called the Price of War Calculator developed by Kiel Institute that helps illustrate how much wars in various countries would cost the global economy based on when and where it occurs. And you can see that even for Iran, a fairly heavily sanctioned country, a war could end up cumulatively costing other countries more than double what it would cost Iran itself over a 5-year period. The big factor there being the impact war can have on the production and transportation of certain key commodities, namely in this case, oil. But outside the fact that this is just one potentially even biased and limited figure for assessing the health of a country's economy, most wars actually result in a decline of GDP per capita, an increase in sovereign debt loads, and global inflation rates, especially in cases where key commodities end up being affected, which hopefully goes to show that there's not a tremendous amount of evidence that war is in fact good for business, unless again, you are perfectly isolated from its costs.